They say you don't know the value of something until it's gone. But when it comes to losing a spouse, those words take on a weight you could never imagine. Losing the person who shared your dreams, your mornings, your laughter, your silence, it changes you in ways you never expected. And while grief nearly broke me, it also gave me some of the greatest lessons of my life. Lessons about love, about resilience, about living in the present moment. Today, I want to share those lessons with you. Because whether you've lost someone or not, these truths might just change the way you live before it's too late. The first thing I learned was that life can change in an instant. One day, you're planning what to eat for dinner, arguing about the little things, laughing about old memories, and the next, the silence in the house is so loud you can hardly breathe. Grief taught me how fragile life really is. We plan, we hope, we imagine, but tomorrow is never promised. When I lost my spouse, I replayed our last conversation over and over, and I realized something. We often live distracted. We're busy checking our phones, worrying about work, rushing through dinner. But the truth is, the most precious gift you can give to someone you love is your full presence. I wish I had slowed down more often, looked into their eyes a little longer, listened with more patience. That's a lesson I'll never forget. Many people think grief comes in neat stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. But losing a spouse doesn't work that way. One morning, you may feel at peace, and that same evening, the weight of loneliness crushes you again. I learned that grief isn't something you get over. It's something you carry, something you learn to live with, and that's okay. I thought I had to be strong and handle everything alone. But when the meals showed up at my door, when neighbors stopped by just to sit with me, when friends let me cry without judgment, I learned a lesson: you don't heal alone. We're meant to lean on each other. And sometimes, letting others help you is the bravest thing you can do. When you lose a spouse, you also lose the version of yourself that existed with them. For years, my identity was wrapped around us. Suddenly, I was just me. It was terrifying, but it was also a chance to rediscover who I was, to explore old passions, to find strength I never thought I had, to build a life that honored their memory but also embraced my future. Grief taught me gratitude in the simplest moments: the warmth of sunlight on my face, the sound of laughter in a room, even the smell of coffee in the morning. When you've lost something so big, you start to notice the small things you still have, and those small things, they become treasures. Perhaps the most powerful lesson I learned is that love doesn't end with death. My spouse may not be physically here, but the love we shared continues to shape my life every single day. In my decisions, in my values, in the way I treat others, their presence lives on. Love is eternal. People will tell you to move on, but losing your life partner isn't something you move on from. It's something you move forward with. Healing is not about forgetting. It's about learning to live fully, even with the scar. I learned to give myself permission to grieve for as long as I needed, and that compassion toward myself became a turning point. In the beginning, the pain felt meaningless, but over time, I realized that pain can become purpose. Sharing my story, helping others going through loss, even simply living in a way that honors my spouse, these gave my grief meaning. Sometimes, your greatest wounds become your greatest teachers. There came a moment when I had to ask myself, do I want to just exist, or do I want to live? My spouse would never have wanted me to stop living. And so, slowly, I chose life again. I traveled, I laughed, I cried without shame. I opened my heart to new friendship. I realized that honoring their memory meant embracing my own life fully. Losing my spouse was the hardest thing I've ever faced. But from that loss, I learned lessons that will stay with me forever. Life is fragile, so live it fully. Presence is the greatest gift you can give. Grief is not weakness, it's love with nowhere to go. And most importantly, love never dies. If you're watching this and you've lost someone you love, I want you to know this: your grief is valid, your journey is unique, and healing doesn't mean forgetting. And if you haven't faced loss yet, treasure the people in your life right now. Hug them a little tighter. Tell them you love them more often, because in the end, love is the only thing that truly lasts.